Ang dia.
On September 13, 2025, a massive storm slammed into Catalonia, Spain, turning quiet towns into scenes of chaos. In Barcelona's province, places like Repol got hit hard. Streets morphed into rushing rivers in minutes. Cars were swept away like toys, and huge hailstones battered homes, cafes, and anything in their path, leaving entire neighborhoods covered in ice. People said it felt like the sky was collapsing. Social media was flooded with videos showing cars tossed around and sidewalks buried under white. Over 2 inches of rain poured down in less than an hour, way more than the old drainage systems could handle. Power lines fell, trees toppled, and buses and trains stopped dead. For thousands, it was a day of shock and fear, a wake-up call that storms like this are hitting harder and more often in our changing world. The storm's fury caught everyone off guard. In towns like Repol and Teresa, streets became raging torrents in no time. Rain came down at a rate of over 2 inches in just half an hour, overwhelming outdated drains. Online clips showed cars floating down narrow roads, shops filling with muddy water, and even benches and cafe tables swept away by the flood. And it wasn't just the water. Golf ball-sized hail pounded rooftops, smashed windows, and dented cars, leaving a trail of destruction behind.
Aquí sí que ha baixat, eh?
In some areas, hail stacked up like snow, worsening the flooding as it melted. Winds over 60 miles an hour tore trees from the ground, blocked key roads, and left live wires sparking dangerously. Emergency crews were stretched thin. Fire departments handled over 100 calls in just hours, while rescue teams worked to secure hazardous roads and free drivers stuck in flooded tunnels. Local hospitals saw a wave of storm-related injuries, mostly from falling debris, broken glass, and slips. For many, this didn't feel like a typical summer storm. It was more like a natural disaster. As floodwaters surged and hail pounded communities in Catalonia, the human and economic impact hit hard. In Repol and nearby towns, small businesses took a heavy blow, with storefronts wrecked in minutes. Shop owners waded through knee-deep water, trying to save what they could, but goods like clothing and electronics were destroyed. For many, a single day's lost business stretched into weeks of recovery and financial stress. Families in low-lying homes faced the worst. Floodwater ruined furniture, shorted out electrical systems, and left houses in chaos. Insurance companies were swamped with hundreds of claims in the first day alone, preparing for millions in damages to homes, vehicles, and businesses. The storm hit Catalonia hard, wreaking havoc on its transportation system. Buses were canceled, highways closed, and train services faced delays as workers scrambled to clear debris and fix flooded tracks. In Montserrat National Park, landslides and falling rocks shut down major mountain roads, leaving residents and tourists stranded. Local officials said the storm brought much of the region's travel to a standstill. Tourism, a key part of Catalonia's economy, took a major hit. Cafes and hotels shut their doors, and global news showing cars swept away in historic streets sparked concerns about safety and readiness. For locals, this storm was more than just bad weather. It was a stark wake-up call about how quickly life can be disrupted when nature strikes. Beyond the immediate mess, the storm highlighted serious flaws in Catalonia's city infrastructure. In places like Ripoll and Terrassa, narrow streets turned into raging rivers, overwhelming old drainage systems built for a smaller population. Manholes burst, sewage spilled, and intersections became dangerous whirlpools. Engineers pointed out that the region's drainage was only designed for light rain, completely unprepared for the 2 to 3 inches that poured down in under an hour. The storm didn't just bring strong winds and heavy rain, it also exposed years of overlooked maintenance. Trees that hadn't been properly trimmed in a long time came crashing down onto homes, cars, and even power lines. In neighborhoods and city parks, roots weakened by soaked soil and fierce winds gave way without much resistance. Soon, power outages spread across entire communities, leaving thousands of people without electricity. Hospitals had to switch over to backup generators just to keep critical services running. Experts say rapid urban growth made the damage even worse. Many open green spaces that once helped absorb rainwater have been replaced by endless stretches of concrete and pavement. With fewer natural drainage areas, flooding now has nowhere else to go. What's even more concerning is that new homes and businesses keep being built in low-lying districts that are already known to flood. This has sparked serious questions about city planning and zoning decisions. For residents, this storm wasn't just another bad weather event. It felt like a warning. Unless the region upgrades its infrastructure and takes climate resilience seriously, every heavy downpour could carry the threat of another disaster. As the skies unleashed heavy rain, streets quickly transformed into rushing rivers, putting Catalonia's emergency services to one of their toughest tests in recent years. Within just a few hours, local fire crews responded to more than 70 calls. Everything from pumping water out of flooded basements to clearing massive trees that had crashed across busy roads. The region's emergency hotline was completely jammed, logging over 200 calls in just a few hours. Many of those calls came from frightened residents stuck in cars or trapped inside their homes. In the town of Ripoll, firefighters formed human chains, guiding families through waist-deep water to safety. Over in Terrassa, swiftwater rescue teams brought out inflatable boats to reach drivers stranded beneath flooded underpasses. Helicopters scanned the skies above Montserrat National Park, where sudden landslides had cut off entire mountain villages and left hikers stranded along isolated trails. Meanwhile, hospitals shifted into full disaster response mode. Doctors and nurses treated everything from broken bones caused by falling debris to cases of hypothermia in residents soaked by the icy floodwaters. Schools and community centers were quickly turned into makeshift shelters. Families gathered inside, wrapped in blankets, anxiously waiting for updates on their homes and neighborhoods. But even with the rapid response, many residents voiced frustration over delays in the warning system. Some said they never received any alert before floodwaters came pouring into their streets. Authorities stressed that they did everything possible, but the storm's sheer force was unlike anything they'd seen before. Still, for many people, that night revealed a harsh reality. When nature moves at this speed, even the strongest defenses can be overwhelmed.